In my younger years, I wasn't exactly happy. I was constantly laughed at, looked down at, and called names that would belittle and disdain me. I used to leave school as quickly as I could, rush home and stare at myself at the mirror before tears started rushing down my cheeks. The truth is, I felt ugly. I was ashamed of being in my own skin. And as an individual who spent the majority of his teenage life drowning in depression and the insecurities magnified by people who today I'd be referring to as my childhood friends, I needed something to give me a reason to continue. And that's when my father introduced me to The Secret. From there, I went on to build my dream body by the time I was 17, become the valedictorian of my school, finally kissed my high school sweetheart whom I've been asking out for about 3 years, and later landed a scholarship to study at one of the most prestigious universities in South Africa. I genuinely believed in and attributed these small victories to the law of attraction. What the law of attraction is, in summary, is that our thoughts are energy, and if we focus this energy on the things that we desire, we will manifest the things we aspire to attain. It's the same idea one of my favorite classics alludes to in The Alchemist, when Paulo Coelho writes, "When you truly want something, all of the universe conspires to help you achieve it." The law of attraction is one of the most prominent philosophies in the self-help community, even endorsed by some of the most influential celebrities. It's a concept that even makes its appearance on our status messages when people post candles to signal that they're manifesting something. And I can't say that I still fully believe in these ideas.
Oh, you don't believe?
You don't believe?
Believe?
I want to be rich. I am rich.
I imagine myself flying. I can fly. I will beat my wings until I take off.
However, they did play a pivotal role in my childhood and contributed to the man I am today. Hi, my name is Lunga Lukuzwayo and welcome to my latest segment, The Damned and the Beautiful. Before I commence with the power of positive visualizations, first I'd like to clarify a few things so I do not confuse anyone who might happen to be watching. I currently have two segments, one named Journals and Meditations, where I talk about philosophy and some of the ideas I try to remind myself to live a more meaningful life. The Damned and the Beautiful, however, is where I go over some of the ideas I try to keep to cultivate a mindset that will help me navigate my way towards attaining my aspirations of financial prosperity. Now that that's sorted, let's get into the video. The Secret is a book that spends the first 100 pages talking about how amazing the book is before it makes false and very bold claims about how this secret has miraculously cured people from cancer, helped others out of poverty, in fact even making them rich, and bringing happiness into the lives of those who use it. As mentioned in the introduction, the premise of the book focuses on one fundamental concept, famously now known as the law of attraction. It seemed like a new concept on the book's debut in 2006. However, it stems from a movement known as New Thoughts, which dates back to as early as the 19th century. The author argues that all of our problems and all of our solutions originates from our thinking patterns, that if you are poor, it's the product of what you allow yourself to think about, that if you are sick, it's the result of your bad thinking habits, and if you are failing your classes, it's because of the energies you send out to the universe using your brain. By now, you probably noticed that there's something fallacious about this logic. If taken to a darker and more polar extreme, what the law of attraction suggests is that victims of truly malevolent and evil deeds are victims of such circumstances because that's the energy they send out to the universe. The question is, does this mean that all women that suffer at the hands of abusive men, did they attract that to themselves? What about the ones who were raped or sold to human traffickers? What about someone as pure as a baby, brutally killed after the perpetrator molested her? Can we lay all these repugnant mayhems at the feet of the law of attraction? There are flaws to this law, and they can also be fatal when it's taken too seriously. An example is Kim Tinkham, who was diagnosed with breast cancer, and instead of getting the proper medical treatment, she attempted to use the law of attraction to heal herself. Like, literally imagine that. Imagine you have a chronic or a serious disease or sickness, and you go into your room and you try to think it out of your life. There are people who do this. I was actually one of them, except with me it wasn't because of sickness. What happened with me, true story, is that I would imagine myself as the top student when I was still in high school. And eventually I became that. When I was in varsity, there was a time when I lost my bursary because I failed a module. And I would imagine myself having a bursary somehow, and it actually did happen. And when these things happen, obviously they confirm your beliefs that this thing actually does work. Maybe I was just gonna be a top student anyways if I just worked hard at my schoolwork. Maybe I was just gonna get the bursary because I applied, so maybe they was just gonna respond. I do not know. Maybe I did actually attract it to my life, maybe. But In the film, The Secret, I was inspired by individuals who were said to use the law of attraction only to have my hope in the validity of this dogma shattered, because there are numerous examples of people who said that the law of attraction cured them of cancer only to get killed by it, helped out of poverty only to get bankrupt, or a lot of people who promoted it only to profit from the pockets of the poor. So despite knowing all of this, is it a sound idea to use the law of attraction? Well, yes, I do believe we should, but not as an absolute. See, there's nothing inherently wrong with positive thinking. In fact, I try to incorporate it in my lifestyle as much as I can, because I do believe that by visualizing your goals, they become clearer to you and they put you in the right frame of thinking to be able to achieve them. You need to believe in yourself when pursuing your dreams and aspirations. However, when I do meditate, sometimes I pair it with negative visualizations. So I'm conscious of the things that I'm trying to avoid and plan appropriately for any disaster that might be looming. But another flaw about the law of attraction is that you can't use negative visualizations if you use the law of attraction as an absolute, because by definition what it states is that if you think about negative things, you attract them to your life, and we don't want that. So what it does is it prevents us from thinking of anything wrong that could go wrong. And if you do not think about the things that could go wrong, then how are you supposed to plan for them? You must always have strategies, backup strategies at place. I'm not saying change your goals, I'm just saying have more than one plan to achieve them. In case plan A doesn't work, have plan B. If plan B doesn't work, have plan C. So I present to you the following 3 ways in which I personally use the law of attraction in order to one day become financially prosperous. First, I set out my goals for the week, preferably on a Sunday night. I write them down on paper, and as I jot all the things that I'd like to have done by the end of the week, I feel myself accomplish these tasks and try to familiarize myself with the feeling of winning so I can draw energy from it as I go through the week. Secondly, use positive affirmations. Journal I am, then proceed to describe the kind of person that you would like to be. Sometimes when I'm feeling too lazy to journal, what I do instead is use positive visualizations to imagine myself already as the person that I'm trying to be. This gives me energy, it gives me confidence, and it helps me keep my mentality driven and goal-oriented. Before I move on to the third way in which I use the law of attraction myself, I'd like to reflect on the first 2 ways I have just described. What I have found personally to help me a lot by using the 2, which is setting out my goals for the week, creating a sense of urgency, putting deadlines, using positive affirmations, and journaling I am, it keeps me in that mood. And this is something that I'm writing about in my book, Mood Setting, where I'm investigating how can I be in the mood to work most of the time. Because I know discipline is important, but let's be honest, discipline drains us. It feels like I'm doing something that I don't really want to do. But when you are in the mood for something, when you're feeling inspired, when you're feeling passionate, I find that I do a lot of work done. My focus levels are more intense, and it's just an amazing feeling. It's actually a high, which is known as flow. So I'm trying to find ways in which I can induce the state of flow much easier. So one of the ways that I found is that by using the 2 ways in which I just described, it does help. I find myself in the mood to study more frequently because I always have the big picture in mind. So I really encourage this. I encourage you thinking about your dreams a lot of time. I encourage you to daydream. That's my message. Daydream as much as you did when you were still a child. Thirdly, and this is an idea I picked up from my all-time favorite author, Dr. Peterson, and this is what he says.
Tried to do, what I learned to do, I think, was to stop saying things that made me weak. I mean, I'm still trying to do that because I'm always feeling when I talk whether or not the words that I'm saying are either making me align or making me come apart. And I think I really do think the alignment is the right way of conceptualizing it, because I think if you say things that are as true as you can say them, let's say, then they come out of the depths inside of you.
He wasn't referring to the law of attraction when he said this, but I truly believe that by saying things that aren't in line with the kind of person that I am aspiring to become, I am unconsciously becoming the person I am striving not to. And this happens a lot when I lie. I don't know about most of you, but when I lie, I can almost feel myself cringing. It's like every time I say untrue things, my soul objects, or my conscience objects. So watch what you say, because if you have a habit of lying, what happens is you become unreliable. And you might say, well, someone else will pay the price for that, not me, but this is not true. true, because there will come a time when the only person that you can rely on is yourself. And if you have a habit of lying, you will not know which one of the many voices you have inside of your psyche to listen to. This is part and parcel why Dr. Peterson says in his multi-million copy bestseller, Rule 9, tell the truth or at least don't lie. If, like me, you are a person who loves self-help, self-development, and personal growth at whatever stage of your life, my message to you is be careful of dogmatic practices. You will encounter them on your road to self-improvement. They come in various shapes and forms and usually bring with them a cult-like following. They come in the form of something innocent like a side hustle or a one-time investment opportunity, when really it's just a pyramid scheme. They can come in the form of an expensive e-course that will teach you the science to becoming rich, or a free seminar that will later sell you an educational package at the end. I'm not saying all of these things are scams. I'm just saying be wary. I have been a victim of some. This brings me to the end of my video, and I would just like to say to everyone using positive visualizations as a means to get inspired to work on their dreams and not expecting to magically manifest greatness into their lives, to everyone meditating, goal setting, and willing to test the strengths of their beliefs by questioning them so they can find the truth instead of validating confirmation biases, to everyone on their journey to financial prosperity, this has been The Damned and the Beautiful, and to us I say, greatness is coming. Thank you.